Hi, and welcome to the good side of crypto, my YouTube channel. I have an iTunes podcast. I do some extra stuff there. But today I wanted to talk about what is the metaverse. And you probably have 1,000 definitions. Let's just ignore the fact that Facebook is a little behind the curve here by renaming their company so they can become like the primary metaverse. No, metaverse, actually, the word metaverse, I'm just going to dive right in here and comment your thoughts about what you first imagined, what first visualized in your mind when you first heard the word metaverse. And like me, when you first heard it, who knows when, I don't even care if it was 5 years ago, 3 years ago, or 3 months ago, you probably asked yourself, what the heck is a metaverse? Like, obviously, it's close to universe, which I could talk about for hours and hours and hours. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about that now. But the metaverse word was not created by Facebook. And I just want to throw that out there because they're going to try to claim, literally, very swiftly and quickly, they're going to try to become the all of the metaverse. Well, no, they're not. Actually, the word was created by Neil Stephenson. You can Google him and look him up. It was in 1992. And if you're a science fiction buff, he basically wrote a science fiction novel called, what was the name? It's called The Snow Crash. And that was where the metaverse word actually was first created. And it was characters in this not science fiction novel were basically avatars that interacted with software people. So I don't know the whole thing. I didn't like read the book, but I know that that's where the term came from. But also, like, if we were to say, well, what does it actually mean? Always go back to our friends, the Greek friends, to get the origin of some of our words. If it's either Latin or it's Greek. And that is meta, which means beyond. So basically it just means beyond the universe. So what is the universe? So yeah, I'm going to go through some definitions. I'm going to give you my side commentary on this. And then I want to share screen and show you something. So the universe is the whole world, the cosmos, and everything, the totality of all things, right? And there's also the pluriverse, okay? The pluriverse is the theory that there's more than two totalities of the universe, that there's basically more than two of the universes, okay? But then there's the multiverse. Multiverse is basically the idea or theory that there's an infinite number of universes. In total, all things that exist, infinite number of universes. Whereas pluriverse are people that believe that there's like two or a little bit more. I won't go into too much of my spirituality, but I think there are probably, let me just give you an analogy. I used to explain what, if you believe that there are, this is separate from the gaming and the metaverse, okay? But it's going to give you an idea of what can be created. And then I'm going to show you something. If you believe that there's an endless number of universes and your consciousness basically will determine which universe you live your life out, that you live out your life in. Okay, so this is kind of like far out there for some people, but otherwise, if you don't like it, turn to another YouTube channel. If you believe that there is an unlimited number of universes, that would be a multiverse. And that the only difference on which world, which life, which universe that you live out your life in is determined by the consciousness or the higher levels of consciousness or the belief. It's so hard to explain. Here's my analogy. Imagine that there are like pieces of paper, and basically the pieces of paper is just like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of papers stacked on top of each other. And one piece of paper, imagine that those are all universes. And your life could be different depending on which one of those universes you resonate with. And how do you resonate with them? I'm coming back around to what this means with Metaverse. How would you resonate with a different universe, a different life, a different, how would you get from a bottom piece of paper to a top piece of paper, where the top piece of paper is maybe you driving an Audi R8, maybe you're just flowing in money, maybe it's all the things you ever desired that you acquired that have come to you easily, maybe that's your no struggle life, whatever it is, the top piece of paper. How do you get from the top, from the bottom? And that is what you believe and how you resonate and your self-talk and your level of consciousness. So I do believe that you can change your life in an instant based on what you think. I mean, it is true that what you think about, you bring about. It is true that you can change your world in almost an instant based on belief, and not just saying things over and over. That's not belief. It's feeling the life that you think that you would like to change about your life. I know I'm getting way off track, but question is, do you believe in multiple universes? If you do, the only difference between where you are now and the universe or life, or I'd say piece of paper in my analogy, that you will go down that road and live that life, is your level of consciousness and awareness that that world even exists. So it's pretty far-fetched. I could go into, I try not to go too far in depth. I'm actually dumbifying it, which actually it sounds even more confusing. So if you're interested in a complete, very serious YouTube video about metaphysical world, multiple universes, and proof that that does exist, drop a comment and I will do a video on that. So I've read a lot of metaphysical books, and I would not call myself obsessed, but I'm open to all things. I'm open to all beliefs. And I do believe that you are in control of your own reality. And when I say universe, I probably mean realities, multiple realities. I believe there are multiple realities that exist all at the same time. And the only difference between you living one reality versus another is your belief that it exists and your level of consciousness. And so you raise your level of consciousness, you change your reality. But to get back to it, there is the universe, which is the totality of all things that exist. Then there's the pluriverse, which is the idea or theory that there are two or more universes in totality. And then there's the multiverse, which is the idea that there's an infinite number of universes, i.e. realities. And by the way, if you have not heard of it, there is a Thingaverse, okay, which I'm very aware of because my children, my kids, my teens, now college people, they have had 3D printers for years. And one year we were like, okay, this is a lot of money. What do you want? A vacation this year, or do you want a 3D printer? And we bought a 3D printer. That was their decision. Since then, it's been nothing but 3D printing. And where you find all the items that you 3D print is on one of the places is on the Thingaverse, okay, thingaverse.com. So that's just some little side tip. And that the metaverse was not just now originated in the last 2 years, since 2019, that everyone seems to act like it's this brand new world or word. It actually has been around since 1992, and it was in a science fiction novel. But it means beyond, a collective virtual shared space. So there are metaverses actually popping up everywhere, meaning there's like the gaming world, which are incorporating themselves into like a metaverse, like Sandbox. So let's just do a quick share screen, and I want to show you something. The metaverse actually, this is an article that actually came out in 2020. It was like July 2020. We were all in lockdown, right? And the world of online was exploding, and metaverse had already existed. But I know a lot of people, I get very like sarcastic with that, because now that Facebook has decided to rename their company, it's going to be like they created it, but they didn't. Okay. It's been around. It's already around. In fact, they're really behind the curve. They're trying to change their perception the people's perception of themselves by, for example, creating a quick website, calling themselves Meta, not Facebook anymore, and saying, oh, well, one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things that we do is Facebook, but we're the Meta. So whatever. But in 2020, actually, Forbes came out with this article called The Metaverse is Coming, and it's a very big deal. And they gave a really good couple analogies if you haven't read it. Imagine walking down the street, suddenly you think of a product you need, immediately next to you, a vending machine appears, filled with a product and variations of what you were thinking of. You stop, pick an item out of the vending machine, it's shipped to your house, and then continue on your way. The idea of this is pretty neat, and this is why people are buying virtual land, so they can display virtual billboards, or they can sell products virtually, but they're actually buying it like they're buying it on Amazon, and then it's getting shipped in physical form. Next, imagine a husband and wife. The husband offers to go to the store, but the wife can't remember the name of the product she needs. Her brain-computer interface device recognizes it for her and transmit a link to her husband's device along with what stores and aisles it's located in. This is pretty far-fetched, but I don't know if I really want my brain interface linking with anyone's brain interface. But anyway, welcome to the metaverse. So in this Forbes article, it basically just talks about how digital realities where people work, play, and socialize. Well, that's happening already right now. And then it says you can call it the metaverse, the mirror world, the AR cloud, the magic verse. They're just like throwing all these things out there. The spatial internet, live maps. But one thing's for certain, it's coming and it's a big deal. So we talked about the definition. We talked about how Facebook's trying to be the metaverse, which they, if you don't know, they just recently hired like 10,000 people to build NFTs inside their metaverse because they know they're behind the curve. That's why. And so that's just one thing I wanted to mention. But if you haven't checked it out, I thought it was already on here, but if you haven't checked it out, check out an example, Sandbox. Sandbox.game is really, really popular. It was one of I would say one of the first few that has, it's really growing really big. But anyway, you can look at the partners. Sandbox is a metaverse. Cardano is building a metaverse. The biggest question is that there's not going to be there's not going to really be one winning metaverse. Although everyone is trying to be the one that everyone comes to. I really think in the end, it's going to be, or there's no end, but in the process of growing and learning, we're actually going to be able to hop from one metaverse to another. So right now, there's companies building these online. Now, you might look at this and say it's a game, but it is a metaverse. It is a world that was created where you can buy an NFT, a graphic, and place it on. You can buy land in this metaverse. You can put something on it that represents you, and you can sell things on that piece of land, or you can just play through the universe, the reality, the metaverse, and you can, obviously you're playing with other people, but it's real people. And so it's growing, and as many explanations as you can find on the internet, they're going to be different. Like the one that I'm giving you, like the video I'm talking about, everything is going to add more and more information to your brain when you hear the word metaverse. But ultimately, just know it is a collective virtual shared space. It is a virtual enhanced physical reality where everyone can go and be social, buy the virtual space. And, you're probably looking to buy a home in the physical world. And a lot of people are buying virtual land in the virtual world where they can then put their business or promote their product or their service or share the NFTs that they've collected and display them. I mean, it's a way for you to not have to get on social media to reach people that you don't know and you've never met before, but to get on a virtual metaverse, virtual world. So it's like we went from just being able to browse the internet to being able to meet anyone and everyone on social media. Think about this. Okay. Oh my God, I'm talking to people all around the world on social media through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and all this stuff. Well, now you're going to be able to do it virtually. And that is why everyone's saying the metaverse is social, because instead of just going live video or just doing YouTube videos or just getting on social media, you're going to be able to be social, interact socially, sell your product and service, and literally that's why it says work, play, and have fun and be social inside a metaverse. And I am looking, by the way, I am looking for I'm looking for a metaverse that I know is currently, let me just go to this a second. I want to show you. I'm looking for a metaverse that is currently really emphasizing and looking to do cross metaverse functionality almost immediately. I don't want something that says we're trying to be the best, because it's not going to be who's the best. It's going to be who has a metaverse that can easily hop to another metaverse, right? And that's already happening. But what I'm looking for is to buy virtual land to be the go-to #1 social giving location inside a metaverse. I will claim ownership of a piece of virtual land where the social giving NFTs are displayed, where the people that partner with the social giving world, we don't have our own metaverse. We are in a metaverse. We stake claim to a virtual area that basically we display and interact, and people come there. It's like they know this is where socialgiving.io is located in this metaverse, and hopefully we can cross and hop metaverses. Anyway, just wanted to go through like the definition. So if you haven't checked the Sandbox out, I mean, it's basically you have a map of the entire land that they designated. But see, here's the limitation. This metaverse is what they identified, but there's more. What about all the other metaverses? What about all the other virtual lands? Well, maybe they just covered one tiny little area of the United States, or maybe it's not even the United States. It's endless. But the thing is, there's room for many, many, many metaverses, but you have to be able to go from one to another. So what do you guys think of that? Do you believe that there are infinite realities? Because inside these metaverse virtual shared space worlds, you're going to be able to literally create anything. You're going to be able to sell anything, promote anything, be anything, and meet everyone like you do on social media right now. You're going to be able to meet anyone and everyone anywhere globally. The only question is the person that you're wanting to meet in the metaverse you're in, or can you hop from metaverse to metaverse and meet people throughout different ones? I think that the NFT world is going to be the most popular, because that is actually how the people are going to represent themselves, their business, their product, their service. They're going to incentivize people that way. There's like 1,000 use cases coming for NFTs. So if you are a person or an entrepreneur or a business, start thinking about having them, creating them, and just getting ready to be able to represent yourself with a collection of NFTs. And if you want to hear more about my metaphysical thoughts, let me know in the comments.
The sun is shining. I knew it would. The world's a playground. I'm in the clouds. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out.